Right, good morning ladies and gentlemen. One of the Yorkshire lads on tour here. I'm going to fit some cheap Chinese auxiliary spotlights to my GS. Now then, BMW had an offer on recently for £399 fitted to put some auxiliary lights on, and what they normally do is there's a switch that goes on here to turn them on, so that's the only bit of kit that you would see any different. So this is what's turned up. So obviously a wiring loom with it looks like quite a decent switch on it, to be fair, don't look too crappy. The bracket which goes under the beak, and obviously two spotlights with an assortment of stainless steel screws and brackets to go on. Now then, I'll go through how I'm going to put it together. Like I say, from China, ordered the 15th of March and arrived approximately 12th of April, so not too bad. And I've had them dipped in disinfectant so that, as Mr. Trump says, so I don't get any virus off of them. So I'll move on to the next phase. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the battery off. I'm just going to prove all the lights work before I start messing about, stripping the bike down and putting the loom in, etc. Alright. Right folks, so temporary connected across the battery, the harness, and I've plugged in the lights. So there they are, working. So you might notice that on my battery I've got quite a few leads going off there. So I've got one for my optimizer and I've got one for the air compressor. So all fused down, etc. So there's no worries about burning the battery out or anything like that, or the wiring loom. The price of the light fittings was just over £60, I think. So compared to the £399, looking alright at the moment. So I'll go on to the next bit where take the beak off and put the bracket on and mount the bits and pieces. Right, the next phase, I've stripped all sorts down. I've probably gone a bit over top with stripping down. I've taken off the side panel on the left where the battery is. I don't think you need to take the right one off. I've taken the peak off. Now you can see here there's a hexagonal location for where that bracket fits. Now the cheap Chinese stuff didn't really come with what I would like, so just so happens I've got some castellated, no not castellated, the flange bolts. Now that will just lovely sit into that top there, and so when I put the bracket on it'll screw nicely and hold itself in. I don't think there's a great need to strip everything down. Obviously you've got to take your beak off. Well, you could probably get that in without taking the beak off, really, if you've got delicate fingers. So for the wiring loom, I've tried to follow that in there, and you can just see, if you take the plastic cheek off below the side tank, you can just see that gap there. I don't know if you can pick it up on this video, but you can see daylight. So that's what you're aiming for when you push the loom through. So I'm going to fix the bracket on now and try and put it all back together. Right, hi everybody. Right, I've fitted the lights now. It's taken me absolutely ages, but that's because I didn't know what I was doing, and I know what I'm doing now. Right, so what I did was I took off a load of panels that I didn't really need to take off. So I took basically all the plastic off. I took the top of the tank off, the sides, these side panels, and obviously the beak had to come off. In reality, only things that you have to take off that you can get away with is if you take that off, the side the side cheeks on each side, the black piece here just on the right hand side, you don't have to take the left hand side one off, and obviously the peak itself, because what you find out is once you've taken this off, you can actually see daylight through the forks to fish your cable through. The other thing that takes so long really is you're trying to figure out what's the best way to tie all the loom up. It's not rocket science really, it's just a bit of patience, and of course your arse nips when you're pulling all these plastic panels off, but you just got to be a little bit brave and get on with it. So the only two little bits extra that I needed that weren't in the kit, which I thought was better, was on here when you put the plastic bracket on, there's an hexagon hole there, so I've got a nut with a welded washer on it, so it fitted in lovely, really nice. And where these screw onto the bracket here, there was a bit of a gap and it swung a little bit, so all I did was I got a black window packing, just chopped it down a bit and just shoved it in between just to stop it rocking like that. Other than that, for 60 odd pounds, alright, it's taken me quite a few hours to do, but if somebody else turned up with another GS or whatever, it's just a question of it'd only probably take a couple of hours tops to put them in. I put the switch there, and just to prove that it works. I'm not lying, but I'm quite happy with it anyway for 60 odd quid. Typical Yorkshire bloke, I like spending my money. Alright, bye.